Hello, isn't it wonderful that we can get together this way? I bet you have grown in knowledge and understanding since the last time we were together. How do you think your teachers will measure that when you see them again? I bet you have grown in love and kindness since we saw you. How do you think your family measures that when you're with them? I bet you have grown in centimeters and grams. Do you measure that with a measuring tape? Do you have a wall in your house where everybody measures themselves? Do you like to measure things? I have in front of me a whole lot of things that we use to measure. I have a clock, and I have my wristwatch. I have an hygrometer that measures the moisture in the air around us. I have a syringe for measuring medicine. I have a yellow school ruler. I have a thermometer for recording the outside temperature. This is a fancy gadget. What do you think it's used for? Hyperspace? Measuring hyperspace? Could be. It shoots lasers. When I'm cooking, I measure with the cups and with teaspoons. And this one is for liquid measures. What? Measuring spiders in your muffins? Okay. This one measures how thick things are. My camera has a light meter in it for measuring how much light my photograph needs. This is a blood pressure monitor, a cuff to squeeze my arm. This is a blood sugar monitor. Measure how much sugar, how much food I've eaten. This, I'm sure you'll be seeing lots of these. And do you know the name of the test, how they measure the COVID virus? Let me read it to you. It's called the Real-Time Reverse Transcription Polymerase Chain Reaction Assay. Can you imagine? Have you ever thought of the Bible as a measuring tool? How does God measure us? How do we measure God? I'm going to read to you from Isaiah chapter 6, verses 1 to 7. And while I'm reading, think about how measuring happens in these verses. Isaiah chapter 6, verses 1 to 7. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord sitting on a throne, high and lifted up. Well, that's a measurement. And the skirts of his train filled the temple. Above him, another measurement, stood the seraphim. Each had 6 wings. With 2, they covered their faces. With 2, they covered their feet. And with 2, each of them flew. Well, that's lots of measuring. And one cried to another and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. That's 2 measurements. 3 times holy for God and a whole earth full. And the foundations of the thresholds shook at the voice of him who cried, and the house was filled with smoke. Do you know how they measure earthquakes and the shaking of foundations? With a seismometer. And do you have a smoke alarm in your house for measuring smoke? Then said I, Woe is me, for I am undone and ruined, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips, for my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. So a woe is a measurement of great sorrow. And Isaiah has measured himself now, and he is very, very sad. he is undone and ruined. And when he says, I am a man of unclean lips, that means that he has done wrong things, he has said wrong things, and he has thought wrong things. And that's about the same as all the rest of us humans, isn't it? So he sees God, who is holy and holy and holy. And that means he is separate from us. He's completely different from us. And he is pure and innocent and perfect. And Isaiah looks at himself and he says, I am not pure. I am not innocent. I am not perfect. Then flew one of the seraphim, the heavenly beings, to me, having a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with tongs from off the altar. And with the coal he touched my mouth and said, Behold, this has touched your lips. Your iniquity and guilt are taken away, and your sin is completely atoned for and forgiven. So the angel measures Isaiah, and he measures him into holiness. When your iniquity and guilt are taken away by Jesus' blood, that means you become pure, and you become innocent, and you become perfect in God's eyes. And how wonderful that is. And when God measures us into forgiveness, that is the best feeling of all. When I read this story, a story came into my head about a young boy who loved to measure things. He has a yellow school ruler just like this one, and he measures everything in his house. Do you like to measure things too? Can you go through your house and find all the neat measuring things like I have? This one measures how thick a pipe is. Can you imagine needing to know how thick a pipe is? This one measures how many kilowatts of electricity my fridge or my stove are using. That's for energy efficiency. This one is a GPS for measuring where I am in the world. This one measures how much electricity one of my batteries has. It's called a multimeter. So young Gordy, he loves to measure things. And then Jesus comes to his house. I'm going to read the story to you and show you pictures of things that can be measured and things that are measured.
Measuring Gordy, written by Nicola Cameron. Gordy loved to measure. His most treasured possession was a yellow school ruler with conversion tables on the back. His best birthday present ever was a 16-foot measuring tape that glowed in the dark. He could measure in imperial and in metric. He measured his room. He measured his bed and his bookcase. He needed help measuring his door and his window. He measured himself lying on his bed. He measured his broccoli. He measured his birthday cake and counted his candles twice. He measured his dad. He measured his little brother. He measured the slice of birthday cake his dad gave his little brother. Gordy knew that if he measured something, it was really there. One day, a man with a golden ruler visited Gordy's dad. Dad told him all the bad things that had happened. They had no money. There was no work for Dad to earn money. The man pulled out his golden ruler. Gordy inched closer. The man laid his golden ruler perpendicular to the living room wall. Gordy gasped. The man broke a piece off his golden ruler. It grew to the same length as the first ruler. The man laid the second ruler perpendicular to the wall and parallel to the first ruler. Gordy gasped again. The man broke a third piece off his ruler, and laid that piece perpendicular to the other 2 rulers and parallel to the wall. Gordy gasped again. A golden treasure box appeared where the rulers had been. The man nodded to Gordy, who measured the golden treasure box. The man opened the lid of the golden treasure box. He pulled out a compass. He pulled out a protractor. He pulled out a scale. He pulled out another golden ruler. The man twirled the golden compass on the coffee table. A pile of gold coins appeared. The man laid the protractor on the coffee table. A picture frame appeared. The man set up the scale on the coffee table, and a pile of Gordy's favorite candy appeared in the scale bowls. Gordy counted the coins. Dad would buy lots of food with that. Gordy looked at the picture. It was him. Gordy tasted the candy and ranked it as the best favorite candy he had ever tasted. Suddenly, the man laid his golden ruler against Gordy's leg. He measured Gordy from his shoes to his hat. Gordy felt his insides tingle. Why was the man measuring him? Gordy already knew that Gordy was there. The man called Gordy back to the picture frame. It wasn't a picture anymore. It was a mirror. Gordy looked into the mirror. He almost didn't think it was Gordy. He took his yellow school ruler and measured his nose. He measured his eyes. He measured his tongue. No, that hadn't changed. The man gave Gordy the golden ruler. Gordy measured his head. The ruler said, "Smart." He measured his chest. The ruler said, "Kind." He measured his legs. The ruler said, "Strong." The man took the golden ruler and measured Gordy again, from his hat to his shoes. He showed Gordy what the ruler said. "Mine."
How did you like that story? I hope that you understand measuring, and I hope you have fun measuring things and finding out about measuring. There's a famous science fiction author, Isaac Asimov, and he said, "The advances that we have in science are due to the advances we have in measuring. The more we know about our world, the more we can do with our world." Isn't that wonderful? I pray that you have a wonderful beginning to your school year, that you are excited about measuring all the things that you can at school, that you're excited to show your teachers how you have grown in knowledge and understanding, in love and kindness, and in strength and stature. Go forward and know that God loves you very much, and He measures you into holiness.